Asteroid of fear.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Men of the House podcast. And it is Monday, so we're almost actually close to just doing this live. Sorry for the late release, but we'll get into that. Um, but yeah, first of all, happy Monday. It's Easter Monday according to the Apple calendar, and I know some schools were out today, but we were not as fortunate. My daughter had to go to school, which means we had to come back last night from out of town, which made for a late night. However, I don't think my daughter minded as much because she got her hair colored and wanted to show that off. It's kind of one of the perks, one of her little Easter gifts. Um, because I don't know if you know fathers out there, but for a woman to get her hair did is expensive. Plan on at least 2 to 3 bills minimum, and a tip. So another reason as fathers to go out there and work hard, so your wife, your daughter, they can feel pretty. Yeah, it's good for them. They can feel pampered, feel beautiful, and yes, more than happy to do that. And grateful we can. Grateful we have the resources to be able to do that. So, why are you getting this episode late? Sorry about that. Come on, Rich. If you're watching, you'll see I got my Just Be mug. I'm having some bone broth. My throat's a little scratchy, if you couldn't tell. I also got my Be Authentic, They'll Adjust, Just Be shirt on. The new one, because the old one is starting to get faded, but the new one is also a medium. That's right. I'm back to medium shirts, or trying to be at least. I've lost 64 pounds, and I'm not a braggadocious person, but I'm proud of that. I should be, right? Anybody would be. Yeah. So, I'm going to own it. So, I got my new medium Just Be shirt on, thanks to my man Scotty G. And I am got my favorite coffee bone broth mug over here. Be present, be humble, be gracious, be authentic. Yes, I am still dressed from yesterday. I will be showering this evening. Please don't hold it against me. But we had a late night. I knew I was going to wake up and work out. And yeah, the day has just, I don't know, turned into its own thing. I'll put it to you this way. This is my second recording of this. I actually recorded a 55-minute episode, and I just wasn't happy with it. There was a few brain farts in there. Um, my normal stream of consciousness did not flow the way it normally does, the way I intended. So I didn't like it. I went outside, thought about it. Made some bone broth. And here we are. Round two, stream of consciousness. So we went out of town Thursday for the weekend, and I took my stuff. I planned on doing some work. I thought maybe I would make some clips, might even record. Maybe I would run into somebody I could actually interview, whatnot, for a Monday episode. But for whatever reason, the old interwebs were just not being favorable in the Woodlands, Houston, Texas area over the weekend. It could be the in-laws. Their Wi-Fi, or it could be the server. Um, but they're not known to have the strongest Wi-Fi, and they're gone a lot. So, yeah. Um, but I do have a hotspot, and I sometimes use it, like I did in South Padre, working over the summer. But I have to be careful because you can use a whole lot of hotspot data real quick when you're doing video editing, uploading, and whatnot. So just to be mindful of that. And in case I actually do need it, I was just like, well, I just won't get as much done. And shout out to Evan. Evan is in the accountability group, somebody I went to high school with. Kind of gave me a little bit of my own advice of, hey, just enjoy your family. I was like, if you can't work, you can't work. Um, I always say that either you make time, take a break, or your body will make time for you. And, you'll get sick. And then you'll be required to slow down. And so this was kind of my God universe moment of saying, be present, be with your family. I mean, you just did an episode Friday on kind of the meaning of Easter, and, let's take the chocolate eggs and bunnies and all that stuff out of it and give it a more spiritual centric uh, look, um, admiration, give it the proper space, if you will. And so slowing down, being present, and spending time with family felt appropriate. And having Evan to give me that good reminder, just reassuring. Um, I trust him. He's listened to every episode, which I appreciate because he's given me all that time. Imagine the most valuable asset. So, any of you guys who are listening and have heard any of my episodes or all of them, thank you, because you could spend your time with anyone else, wherever else, on so many things, and choosing to spend it with me, listen to my thoughts, listen to me talk, listen to me interview others. I appreciate it. And I know some of the guests appreciate it too, because we all come from a place of, I think, love, service, and wanting to add value. And um, if our conversation can reach just one person that day who needs to hear it, you know, maybe it keeps them here an extra day. Maybe it saves a marriage. It's worth it. That's why we do it. That's why I do it. And that's why I'm doing it again. Because the first time I just wasn't happy with the product. So I'm not going to put it out there to you guys if I'm not happy with it. For the for the listeners over here, I'm trying to scrape up a little bone broth. Got a little dust on here. But so I didn't get a ton of work done. But what I did get done, which was the most valuable and most meaningful thing, and that I kind of really wanted, was I got to connect with a lot of people. If most of you can remember, I did not get to go visit any of my in laws, extended family over Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's because I was with Puck. And so this was an opportunity for me to go down, see all the people I didn't get to see, and just have some conversations. As a podcaster, obviously I love conversations, but even just as a person, I'm a big fan of meaningful conversation. I believe a lot of things can be magical, they can offer perspective, they can do so much when they're good. But yeah, so my daughter, she got her hair done, and while she was doing that, that was like a 6 hour ordeal. I got to spend some time doing what I do, walking the neighborhoods, doing some work, spending time, I would say, kind of deep in thought, meditation, which is, you know, a lot of what walking is to me, is that it's an opportunity for me to reconcile and or unload any thoughts that might be plaguing me. Um, Sometimes I'm thinking about what I'm going to say on the podcast, like I did earlier today, and then damn, forgot it all. I usually make notes, sometimes make memos, voice memos, whatnot, but things got away from me today and just didn't happen that way. But I think kind of, one of the themes throughout the weekend was, well, how to explain this? It's kind of like a realization snapshot in history, moments in time of like you get to see, like I was seeing my ex-wife's husband, his parents. I didn't get to see them last time. So it had been a while, and of course things change. We all age, we all come down with different health things, and maybe you show up. Last time I was there, grandma wasn't on a walker, and now she's having to use a walker. She's okay, but just some minor things of as we age, different things happen. Like when grandpa retired from UPS, you know, it's almost like your body slows down and everything comes to the surface like, hey, address this, hey, address that, and so, it, I was just grateful to be able to sit there and have these conversations with them and spend time. And then you, like, then we have my 11-year-old, and then we have our middle daughters in their 20s. And, you know, spending time with them, whether it's like meeting up or they meet us wherever they are, um, it's, I think the thing that kind of sticks out to me the most is just the development, like how in awe I guess I am of they used to be 2 and 3 years old when I met their mother. They were little girls, and now they're young women, their own people, their own thoughts, um, what they think is cool, what they think is not, what they're into, the people they date, the people they choose to date. Um, do they drink, not drink? Just being able to see that and kind of take a moment and take it all in. And having spent a lot of time with older people and caregiving and at myself nearing 50, yeah, just observing the stages of life, kind of what's important, what these people did in earlier stages to get them to where they are in later stages. Um, Taking care of old people, shown me how I need to care for myself, what's going to be difficult. Um, and I think there was even some references made over the weekend where we talked about like, well, the reason you're doing this now is because one day you're going to be this person and now you're going to have to do this. And, so it was like when we were visiting the grandparents and our daughters are there and, you know, and Hector, her ex-husband, who's my age, and you start to see how like the circle of life with the generations and kind of everybody's role in a way within a family if the family's together and um, how they whether help to care for one another, because it's like, hey, grandma can't reach this or that, so it's like she can do some of these things to keep herself active, but then it's like she has to wait for, you know, um, one of the daughters or granddaughters or her son to come over and do it. And so, yeah, it was just kind of me like a weekend of meaningful conversations with each of those age groups in a way, and then kind of sitting back and observing and looking at the stages. And, because I've known 19 years, my wife and I've been together. So I've kind of known Hector, his parents, maybe a little less because, we didn't meet right away, but yeah, it's just been neat. And then you have these memories pop up, and when Easter on my phone, um, there was one where when my daughter was in pre-K, they were Easter egg hunting in the gym, and then there was one when we lived at the Cascades and went to the country club and the Easter egg hunt there. And yeah, so it was just spent with a lot of time spent in reflection, thinking about life, great conversations. You know, it was a lot of fun. Got to do some things I hadn't ever really got to do as well. So like, let's see, what was it? One one evening, my brother-in-law, I'd never had Jet's Pizza. Not only did we have Jets, because I'd always wanted to try it from I don't know if you guys, I'm a big foodie, so I watch this food YouTube channel called Number Six with Cheese. Uh, Corey Wagner and Sean somebody, but um, lots of food reviews. Always doing Jets Pizza. They get the turbo crust, and I was always fascinated that people love their ranch. I don't do ranch, but you get like a whole squeeze bottle of it when you order it. And some people order just to get the ranch or go there just to get their ranch. But we had the deep dish and then even a thin crust Hawaiian with some bacon and pineapple. And I'm a big fan of that as well. Shh, don't tell anyone. I know pineapple on pizza is a crime for some, but I actually enjoy it. I enjoy it on a softer, deeper dish crust, but this one was on thin and it was good. And so that was like a first for me and that was fun. But the time of my life was my nephew, and he's got this like on the top floor. It's like one of those long room loft type. where you would have a TV, but he's got guitars in there and he's got an electric drum set, which I play from time to time. I mess around with, but I'm never there long enough to like really get to mess with it. And I'm horrible at it, for one. And you turn on the amp, and of course, the electric drum kit plays through the amp, so you're annoying the whole house with your shitty drum technique. it's not even it's not even good enough to be called technique. But so this time I actually had when I went up there and I knew they were gonna be kind of be put for a second, I was like, I brought my AirPods because I had them, and then I had some wired headphones and whatnot. And then I finally messed with it enough to where I was able to like Bluetooth my iPhone. So then that was coming through, so I could actually try to play to something as opposed to just getting behind and trying to make a beat. And then, oh, I was like, let's see. I actually had some AirPods with a 3.5 millimeter jack, and I had a little phone jack on the drum kit thing. Turned the amp off, and I was able to play where only I could hear it. I could be as horrible as I wanted. um, no, because I think the benefit of that is it's weird. I think if you like, I've played guitar, I've messed around on drums, but I don't really know how to play drums, and I don't know you know, I just know the sounds. But whenever I put the headphones in and was going, I felt that if I played more like a feeling versus trying to think of what each thing needed to do, it felt more natural. So I just had a blast doing that. And I told my wife, yes, I don't want socks. I don't want no baloney. Like, Facebook Marketplace, find somebody who's going to sell one for a couple $100. And that's what I want for my birthday, Father's Day, whatever. I know I was so bummed because um, one of my one of the little boys who goes to school with my daughter, his mom was cleaning out the garage and posted it quickly, and somebody took it before I could snatch it up. She just wanted it out, and I was like, damn. And man, would I love to be playing on one of those right now. But I think we might be going back in a couple of weeks, and I just might get that opportunity. And I'm looking forward to that. And then Sunday, of course, we had Easter, and it was at my sister in law's parents' house, which we'd never been there. And super cool, like beautiful backyard, beautiful home. But where we had the Easter, imagine like a shop behind a home, but a shop that's made out of brick with a wraparound patio. And like you could work on a car in there. I think it had a car lift, but then it's got like, you know, kind of decent floor, not like concrete barn floor type crap, like real tile, some cool tables, um, a restroom for the women. And what was really cool, it's got like an outdoor kitchen under the wraparound patio area. And on the back side of that, there's like a little wall and there's a urinal. Kind of like, where you see like sometimes you have those outdoor showers for people who come in from the ocean behind like a little wooden divider screen type thing. And they have a urinal for the men. And so that was pretty cool. But just a great little shop, uh, man cave type thing. It's like what dreams were made of. I was like, oh my God, this would be heaven for me. I don't think I would ever even go in my home. I would just probably live in there. It was big enough. I mean, it was pretty big. It was the size of, let's say, like a three or four car garage. So pretty cool, but super fun time. We had fried catfish, hush puppies, fried shrimp, some dips, ambrosia salad. My wife made like strawberry cake and kind of like a strawberry shortcake type thing. Poke the holes in it where, like a tres leches where the sauce seeps in and all that. But, um, it was just the vibe was right. There was great music, and it was really about the conversations in the community. I mean, they did an Easter egg hunt, found probably like a rat snake in one of the flower beds, but the big thing is there was no knockdown drag out, anything like that. There was no belligerent, anytime there's a family function, you always have to be concerned. A lot of times I don't like to go to events because I'm always concerned that there's always some sort of family drama somewhere getting ready to brew up and make it everything it's not supposed to be. But, this was just a bunch of chill people, conversations, good spirit. It was a lot of fun. I felt like it was what it was supposed to be about: community, togetherness. Um, you know, Talking about small wins and where we want to be better. So the only negative was my daughter had school today and we had to come back late. I'd have loved to have stayed another day. Um, but yeah, it was just great to catch up with everyone after missing the holidays and kind of see where everybody is, what's going on, and you know, will be probably more frequent trips in the summer. Usually is how it works, and that's what we're gearing up for. But speaking of gearing up, let's talk about some accountability. I mean, we talked about Easter, a little bit of faith related, the meaning, the universe, and, you know, with that, there's an accountability piece of not being perfect, but trying to be better. Um, as men, as women, Christians, believers, I'm sure even non believers want to be better or accountable in some way. So let's talk, like I said, the big thing this weekend was community. And what I'm creating here at the Men of the House podcast is community. I have an accountability group. Um, there's a private Facebook group and a private WhatsApp group. Those are both free to join. Um, I believe on the Facebook, you do have to answer what is one area that you're looking to be accountable in. This is not a meme group or, you know, some bullshit kind of visual group. This is for people who need something. It's a safe space. There's no bullies. I do review, I do select. I do not allow just anyone and everyone who wants to join. So it's not ginormous at the moment for that reason. Pardon me. But It is a place that you can come, and if there's something you're working at getting better at, something you need to do on the daily, it's a place you can come receive some daily motivation. You can check in, you can participate as much or as little as you'd like. But the more you participate, I would assume the better results you're going to get because you're going to have somebody to hold you accountable to them when you speak it into the world. So, if you're ready to take the next step, head on over to Facebook. Hit me up over there. Also, any of the social media platforms, you can find my link tree. There's ways to contact me, etc., etc. Oh, my throat keeps giving me problems over here. All right. But think of it this way: who knows what you're working on and who checks in on you when you want to quit? If you do not have people like that in your circle, this is the perfect place for you. Let me be that person for you. Also, you might have people in your circle who can hold you accountable to the degree that you let them. Sometimes people don't feel comfortable um, maybe sharing their biggest goals with their best friends or something. Maybe they feel like their friends secretly are against them. Or maybe they feel like their friends will laugh at them, laugh at their goals, or not take them seriously, or give them a hard time. So, if you fall into that category, you can come over to the Men in the House Accountability Group. I'm not here to judge. I'm only here to help, offer value, listen, be a safe space, maybe offer a different perspective. So, if that sounds like something you might be interested in, find one of my link trees. I'm easy to find. What does somebody say? Easy to find, hard to talk to. But yeah. Until next time, while you're out there this week navigating the world, remember to go out and be the person that you want to meet.
Hey, go.